Hello neighbors, it's Crazy Double D with HD Gaming Live, and I'm here with another review. This is Assetto Corsa. In Italian, that means racing setup. Is this racing sim set up to fail, or take the checkered flag? Let's find out. Assetto Corsa has its hands full on consoles. It's taking on two big names, Forza and Project Cars. But as Forza continues to make tiny steps in the arcade direction, Project Cars is its true nemesis. So let's make some quick on-paper comparisons. Car roster. Project Cars boasts 65 mostly race-built cars, whereas Assetto Corsa touts a list of 90 cars. Track count. Project Cars has 30 tracks on the disc, and Assetto Corsa, they love to say they have 26 tracks configurations. Okay, that's true, yes, but those configurations are only on 12 tracks. Single-handedly Assetto Corsa's Achilles heel. If this is a rights issue, why not put in some fantasy tracks? It's a weird deal. But now let's talk about my single favorite feature Assetto Corsa has and Project Cars doesn't. Tire blankets. That's right, you can have optimal tire heat right at the beginning of the race. Wonderful, wonderful, thank you. Assetto Corsa wants you to know they have settings and assists to help with all skill levels. With the theme of making this racing sim accessible to all players regardless of sim racing experience, they don't penalize you for turning on assists or lowering the difficulty. I respect that. However, let's talk about the AI's speed. Wow, they're fast. Even on the lowest difficulty, the top 3 or 4 cars are just gone. You have to run the race flawless if you want a podium. Take a turn a little bit too wide, those other cars are out of sight. Graphics are a mix. First, let me say I have a small obsession with how awesome the brake lights look when they're lit up. It's amazing. As well as the curbs on the track. They are tire stained and scuffed up, very realistic looking. In-car dashes might be the best dashboard and odometer models I've seen in any game. From the lights to the authenticity of each model is just perfect. The windshield even has impurities that add to this authenticity. Unfortunately, from there we go a little downhill. The grass texture is abysmal. The track texture and car models actually aren't too bad looking, but the issue is that all these together don't mesh well. The biggest aesthetic bummer would have to be no track debris. Ever since I saw how cool and immersive it made Need for Speed Shift back on 360, then again in Project Cars, I was bummed to see the omission of this. Oh, cool random thing! You can change the brake bias on the fly during the race. That's cool. Oh, one random bummer. Tooltips are needed. Like, what are automatic blips? Or what does steering gamma mean? What does it do? Help me out, game. Help me out here. Coming from hours and hours in Project Cars to this, I feel a bit lonely without having a crew chief giving me useless updates through the radio. He honestly annoyed me in Project Cars, but now I kinda miss him. Physics. Comparing the game to Project Cars like we've been doing, I'm really liking how it feels when the car body rolls, when going curb hopping, and the overall feel of hitting small bumps and cracks in the track. In Project Cars, you never really felt or saw these bumps, and it always turned me off. There's multiple modes in Assetto Corsa, but there is a drift competition mode. I consider myself a bit of a hoonigan. I'm willing to sacrifice a few seconds on my lap times if it means I can get a little sideways in the corners and feel cool doing it. In Project Cars, drifting just wasn't an option. Assetto Corsa brings drifting back to sim racing, and because of this, I'm grinning from ear to ear. But in the end, the physics are enough sim to be passable. If you put some time into the settings, you can make it feel almost as real as you want. The scope of full assist to no assist is huge. On the extreme of each scale, they are completely different feeling games. I'm glad these options are here. But seriously though, drifting is just sublime in this game. The feel and satisfaction from going sideways, counter-steering around the whole turn, it's just flawless. This is why I will be returning to the game often. Like I said earlier, 90 cars pack this game. All can be driven with factory setups or your own custom setup. And when it comes to setup, tinker away. There are more ways to tweak these cars than there are planets in No Man's Sky. Okay, not really, but you get the idea. Tuners will have a field day. The AI is pretty good. They will race each other like pros, actually. There's been times I've been in third place, and I have a front row seat to an amazing battle for first place. They will do what they can to not make contact with you if you dive bomb into a corner, but don't expect them to give up on their line when trying to pass. There were a few times when I took a turn too wide, left that door open, and the AI made me pay for that mistake and took the inside line from me. It was phenomenal. I was like, what the f***? Nice move, AI. Nice move. But the biggest issue with the AI is their speed. Even in the easiest setting, they leave me in the dirt. Especially if I have any sort of stability assist on, they gone. The modes in Assetto Corsa try to bring as many options to the player as possible, so you can play the way you want. The career is boring and unexciting. I found that the challenge modes are where this game excels. Take on weird car track combinations or drift a car that has no business being drifted. Those challenges are good fun. Assetto Corsa brings a few things to the sim racing genre that are very welcome and exciting. However, there are some steps in the wrong direction that may deter fun for the non-hardcore. I say give this racer a try, especially if you're a fan of sim racers or drifting. Booyakasha! Hey neighbors! Hope you liked the review and found it informative enough to make a purchase. Or not. I really appreciate the comments. Keep rocking, and I'll see you at the next block party.